You knew I was gonna do it. Mike here for IronInfidel.com. Make sure you check out the water bottles. I need you to stay hydrated, but also remember over at IronInfidel.com, there is a lot of fitness equipment so you can stay healthy as well. Now today we're gonna talk about a hot topic, and that is, should you change or otherwise upgrade your carry or your duty pistol? And for this today, we're gonna use a couple of examples, one of which you've seen before, which is gonna be this Glock 45 that has all the bells and whistles on it, and then something a little bit newer, which is gonna be this SIG P320, which again has got a lot of bells and whistles going on there. And we're gonna talk about all kinds of things from the traditional kind of basics like optic, light, magwell, stuff like that. And we're gonna get into things like porting, compensators, and everybody's favorite, triggers. Now I know this is a hot topic and people are gonna have some bold opinions, so go ahead and let us at the Iron Infidel team know down below what your thoughts are. But first of all, let's talk about some of the basics and what they can do for you. Let's start down here at the bottom with this SLR magwell. So what does a magwell do? It gives you all this additional surface area right here in the bottom. That way when you're doing a magazine exchange under stress, you can get that mag in there a little bit quicker. It also gives you a little bit more grip around that pinky area if you've got larger hands, or say you're using something like a Glock 19, which is a little bit smaller of a grip than the 45 here. So people don't think of that as a upgrade or per se modification because it doesn't have anything to do with the mechanical function of the pistol. Now let's move up to the optic. What does an optic do for us? It's maybe going to make us a little faster, a little bit more accurate. If you've got some aging eyes, it can help you get back on target a little faster. Overall, optics generally speed people up and do good things. And then when it comes to something like a light out here, obviously it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a light, not a searchlight, but this is a light for positive target identification and conducting actual lethal threat searches and assessments of structures, things like that. Not a general searchlight like a flashlight. If you're using this light, there is a very specific reason. But again, these are things that go on there that people don't look at as a upgrade, modification, or change to it, but it's definitely not how the thing came out of the factory, whether it's a magwell, optic, or a light. For the most part, sometimes things do come with lights and optics on them, but for probably 95% of pistols, they do not come with all of these things. So is it a change, and is it a change that matters? And I guess that's gonna be up to everybody else's comfort level, because you have to be comfortable with everything you have on your setup. And if you wanna carry that thing around on the daily in the condition that it's in, whether it's a duty pistol, a CCW pistol for self-defense, or a range toy, everybody's got a different comfort level for what they do to their pistol. Now let's talk about some of the things that get into the mechanical function here. And let's start off with the trigger right there. That is an Overwatch precision trigger in there. I will preface this with saying I know for a fact that Overwatch precision triggers are on a carry roster, so they are usable by several law enforcement agencies, and I think at least one federal agency out there. But this seems to be the one that comes up the most. It seems to be that on rifles, people love aftermarket triggers, but when you put one in a pistol, all of a sudden you're going to go to prison. And I'm also going to preface this with, I did my research. So not only did I talk to state, federal prosecutors, I spoke to attorneys, defense attorneys. I did some research and actually found there is some case law out there where somebody had something stupid on their desk cover on a rifle in a shooting, and that was not allowed to go into court because it was considered inflammatory. But what does a trigger do for us? There's a few things. One, probably going to feel a little bit better, right? Most factory triggers aren't the best, so it can clean up the take-up, clean up the reset, overall feel better on your finger, but also it can change the length of pull. So if you've got short little hobbit fingers, you know, as you get your finger in there, you're gonna have a little bit more reach maybe, instead of when a trigger is arced way out to the front. If your fingers aren't long enough to do that, that could be a problem. The other thing that triggers can do for you is they can lighten it up a little bit. Now, I don't go super light. I think personally 4 to 4.5 pounds is probably about as light as you want to go for a carry or duty pistol. Again, that's me, that is my comfort level. And if you have one that's lower, please let us know in the comments down below. But ultimately, it is something that, you know, is in the mechanical function of the pistol. And that's another reason why with everything you put on, whether it's a magwell, light, anything, you've got to proof that out. Not only do you have to proof, there's a plane.
A few moments later.
Sorry, we had to pause for that plane. So not only do you have to proof that out with all of your holsters and equipment and everything, but you got to proof everything out with your not only practice ammo, but especially your carry ammo. Well, let's move upstairs here and talk about what's going on with this barrel and compensator. So if you don't know what a barrel or compensator is, the compensator, you can see it right there. This one is a Radiant. It's got its own barrel in there. So not a factory barrel, it is a factory replacement part. And that compensator basically allows the gases to escape upwards. Some of them are angular or whatever, but what that helps do is disperse gases. As that round leaves there, those gases go up. So instead of flipping up about that much, maybe you get about that much. You can see the footage in there. These are meant to help you mitigate and control recoil. And I know some people say it's just a 9mm, but for me personally, I think recoil is stupid, and I will take any advantage I can get when it comes to a pistol. If it's gonna make me faster, shoot flatter, recover on target faster, and be overall better with the pistol, I'm probably going to take that advantage. But it can cause problems. So again, you've got to proof everything that you're going to carry on a pistol. So when we talk about these upgrades, whether it's that Glock or something like this SIG right here, which I think the only part that's actually factory on is the fire control unit in there, there's really three things that you need to take into account. One is, I'm not a lawyer, this isn't legal advice, and I can't tell you what all of your state and local and city ordinance laws and all those things are. There are states that have all kinds of weird stuff. All I can do is tell you what I know at this time. And then I've contacted local lawyers, defense attorneys, some in the state of Arizona and some in other states, and none of them were able to verify any of the stories I'd heard or whether things had been used in a criminal prosecution. In fact, they said it would have no bearing on the case if it was justified. Again, I'm not a lawyer, not legal advice. That's just the information that I found. But again, three things that you need to check into. One, laws. You've always got to pay attention to those local laws in your area. Two, you have got to ensure that your kit, your holsters, and everything is going to jive with all these different parts. If you go put in a different light, a different slide, it may make the tolerances different. You may not be able to get that thing in and out of the holster as fast as you used to, or you might have hangups. If you put like extended controls, like that extended mag release right there, sometimes those can cause issues. You've always got to proof that gear. And lastly, you've got to proof your ammo. So once you know everything works, you've got to make sure that not only your practice ammo, but your duty ammo is going to function 100% reliably. And I mean 100%. Not a couple rounds didn't work. You need to ensure that your duty and carry ammo functions 100% reliably. If you have one round out of 3,000, I would say that's fine. If you have a couple rounds in 1,000, I would say go back to the drawing board if that is good self-defense ammo, because that should not be in that case. Usually that stuff runs 100% in pretty much anything from the factory. So those are the biggest three things that you need to pay attention to when you're talking about changing or upgrading anything, whether it's a carry pistol or a rifle. And of course, you have to be 100% comfortable with carrying everything in your kit, everything from your mag carriers, your mags, your mag extension, your optic, your med kit. You have to be 100% comfortable with that gear, know how to use it, and ensure that you can put that gear into use should the time ever come. All right, well, I know that was a lot of information, but this is a topic that gets people absolutely heated. Some people say do everything, and some people say do nothing. I'm most curious about what your limits are, what your comfort level is, whether it's Magwell optic light, or whether it's absolutely nothing, or whether you go the full Monty of compensators, porting, barrels, triggers, whatever it is, because everybody's got a different comfort level. And I really want to know, our viewers here on Iron Infidel, what your comfort levels are down in the comments so we can share that information. Now, make sure you guys check out the battle bottles right here, because I need you to stay hydrated and I need you to stay healthy. You can do that both at Iron Infidel, because they've got the hydration battle bottles and they've got the fitness equipment, so you can go out and do your workouts whether you're doing it outdoors or indoors. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, keep doing it on the range, and I will see you all in the next one.